So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. And we headed back into the woods, all right? Another trail cam video to see what's going on in the woods, maybe behind your house or somebody's house or near somebody's house or something, you know what I mean? And y'all know, it's the only way y'all getting me to go in the woods anyway, all right? But anyway, we're checking out this video. This video is titled, "This Ranger Can't Explain What His Trail Camera Just Captured Deep in These Woods." All right, so we're gonna get into it. If you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, join the family, and hit that like button for more content. Let's check it out.
There's nothing quite like walking in the woods to get the blood flowing. But not only does forest hiking have a good effect on your physical health, but it can also put you in a better mood. As you walk, your body creates endorphins that may have a positive effect on how you feel and reduce anxiety.
True.
These videos, however, will have you feeling something else altogether. Terror. Nature can be gnarly, so if you're out there enjoying it, know this, be ready to run. Here's why. If you see this in the woods, get away fast. Middlebury, Connecticut. The Little People Village in Connecticut is one weird place. Does not boast an official address, so it might be challenging to find, but if you ask the locals, they can point you in the right direction.
What?
Even if you could locate the remote little town, it's located on private property, so getting anywhere near without authorization is even less likely. If you look closely enough, just over the border of Middlebury, you can find the abandoned ferry village, and it's said to be cursed and or haunted. One glance at the nightmare-inducing buildings that still reside there will send you sprinting for the hills. It turns out it's neither of those things. It's history. It's just as intriguing as any of the legends surrounding it. The little town dates back to 1920.
Oh, I was about to say, if that was for real, man, I don't even want to live 5 miles close to that town at all, bro. Are you kidding me?
With William Joseph Lannon, who hailed from a nearby town. Purchasing a piece of land between Middlebury and Waterbury, William hoped to run a successful gas station for commuters between the towns. For quite some time, business was booming. 4 years later, a new road bypassed William's gas station altogether. With no more income from the business, he was forced to do something with the land. He turned it into a nursery and planted all sorts of different plants, from trees to shrubs to exquisite flowers. Seeing this beautiful new oasis he was creating, he began fashioning little buildings out of brick, stone, and mortar. The exact reason William wanted to construct the tiny town is unknown. During his time, however, new reports called it a village or a toy town. The haunting aspects came with the abandoned. Fasten your seatbelts, because it's time for today's sweet topic. This ranger can't explain what his trail camera just captured deep within these woods. And we can't either.
Me neither.
Plus, we can't decide if it's the giant snout on this mystery creature or those majorly sharp claws that scare us the most. This goblin has us completely gooped. Speaking of goblins, while there's no certain concept.
Yeah, I don't know what in the Edward Scissors hands is this right here. I don't know. This better be a statue or something like that. Or yeah, somebody just got a sick fetish for creating sculptures like this or something, some type of art.
For when and where goblins emerged as figures in folklore, most ascribe their conception to some point within Europe's Middle Ages. Variations of goblins come from as widespread as Zimbabwe and France, so maybe there's some truth to these mythological monsters. They've captured imaginations for centuries. Goblins can range from mischievous to malignant, charismatic to foul. Usually associated with the natural world and dark earthly places, goblins find their niche in many a story. They may materialize in our real world or the fantasy world, often troubling both our horizons, mucking about humans as they see fit. They alternate between the planes of the physical and the spiritual. Maybe this park ranger actually captured one on camera. And just maybe there are many goblins out there deep in the woods waiting for us, just like this one. What do you think? Leave a comment and make sure to use the hashtag #SweetTopic.
Just maybe, I don't want to find out. How about that? You ever think about that? What you mean?
The Georgia Screamer. This footage allegedly captures a creature known as the Georgia Screamer. Although there's little information regarding it, it's nothing short of nightmare-inducing, even if you deem the whole thing a hoax. Admittedly, the breaking of the tension with the camera operator's laughter pulls you from the mood. However, you're immediately brought back when a friend asked whether he should throw a firework at the mysterious creature. The sounds coming from whatever that creature is genuinely terrifying, though it does sound a lot like the clickers from the video game The Last of Us.
Run! Run!
For a brief second, you can see a humanoid figure enter the frame before the friend takes off in fear. It appears to be an actor in a unitard if you look closely. The lack of video description is also strange. Don't you think if you encountered such a strange creature, your blood would be boiling? You'd be antsy to get that event up on the internet with an accurate description of how you and why you were in the woods to begin with. Either way, for the YouTube channel that posted the video, it's their most successful to date. The Catalonian creature, also known as the Catalonian fallen angel, this strange creature was a cryptid humanoid caught on footage near Catalonia, Spain. The human-esque figure enters the frame looking skeletal and gaunt. Even if this isn't some strange creature, it's undoubtedly terrifying. Humans can be just as terrifying as a monster, sometimes even more so. The creatures of question suddenly turn and face the camera, and those illuminated eyes enough to give even the bravest of heart a jolt of fear. Its quick and panicky movements don't help keep the situation calm either. When the creature of question turns, the camera crews take off running and screaming for their lives. Could it be that of a fallen angel feeding on unicorn blood? Or is it merely the human gone mad and has taken residence in the wilds? For the time being, no one has a clue. As the camera operator approaches the being, you can see something jutting out from its back. Could they be what remains of a fallen angel's wings? Many suspect just as much, hence where the name derived. After a thorough review, many have claimed it to be anything from an undiscovered species to a demonic presence to an insane hermit. Deadly booby traps. In Utah, someone has been setting up some serious...
That's the type of stuff I'll be worried about too. We forget, we be so worried about cryptids and wild animals and little people and different things like that that they got and they talk about all the time. Booby traps is what they leave out.
Seriously hazardous booby traps. We're talking long spikes, swinging anvils, and pitfalls. They've been popping up along many of Utah's most famous hiking trails, sending tourists and hikers in a tizzy about their safety, and rightfully so. The two men responsible for the deadly traps have been arrested. Officers say it was luck alone that an eagle-eyed forestry officer found the tripwires on a routine patrol. If a hiker had tripped the trap, murder would be on the list of charges. The two responsible for the traps built them around a makeshift shelter and claimed they were intended for wildlife. Skeptical investigators still brought up charges of a misdemeanor for reckless endangerment. This is a shelter put together by people, visited by people. Anything that the device would impact would have been humans, said Utah County Sheriff's Sergeant Spencer Cannon. There's just no way.
Glad you watched this video now, don't you? Huh? It put it back to the forefront of your mind now. You might have forgot or wasn't thinking about it, but watching this video probably saved somebody's life, to be honest with you, man. There's some crazy people out here.
These traps weren't set up to harm people. There's no dangerous wildlife that patrols the areas requiring such deceptive devices. The medieval design traps would have had to be spotted by a trained eye. The officer who first happened upon them has military experience in detecting hazardous devices. He says these traps had all the making of a deadly weapon to be used against humans.
That's insane.
The ghost bird. The woman in the video gets the fright of her life when she mistakes the camouflage of a ghost bird for an old piece of wood on their fence. This nightmare-inducing creature is sure to send shivers down your spine. Even if you're a fan of birds, this guy is one eerie-looking fellow. Not to mention grumpy-looking.
He was bobbing his head.
The great potu, as it's called in the scientific community, is a near passerine bird. Passerine bird is a term often given to tree-dwelling birds or those most often believed to be related to the valid passerine species. Much like owls, this species is nocturnal. They prey on giant insects and small vertebrates with ruthless efficiency. Its head, when compared to the size of its body, is enormous. You can find their creepy bird from southern Mexico to Brazil. In other words, throughout most of Central and South America, for the most part, locals just let these amazing creatures be. Occasionally in the rural area of Brazil, potu was hunted as a minor food source. However, they offer little meat yield and are notoriously difficult to locate. With these two factors alone, they're mostly left alone. Abandoned car forest. In Belgium, there's an infamous place located in the forest where old cars go to die. Of course, cars can't move independently, so humans once designated the spot as a good car disposal site. Today, there are hundreds of vehicles scattered across the forest. Many of the vehicles have slowly but surely been reclaimed by Mother Nature. You can find cars with neon-colored flowers sprouting from the engine to cars getting tangled with the massive tree root system, effectively making the two entities one. You can even head over to Google Maps and punch in the location to see on your computer screen firsthand. It's nothing like what it is in person despite this. Today, the graveyard is home to little more than auto parts. Most of the original cars that were placed...
All I can think about is snakes and different types of snakes, rattlesnakes or something just curled up, coiled up somewhere in that stuff, man. You go to reach your hand in there, that's it. Nope.
There have been excavated and properly disposed of. The nearby town of Chatelain was most affected by the site, with most residents claiming the cars didn't bother them. However, a few complained about all the people who showed up to see them and snap some Instagram-worthy photos. The town was bombarded with tourists trying to get a glance. Giant monster wolf. If you see any wolf, you should probably turn tail and run. They aren't often alone either, so if you spot one, odds are the pack isn't too far away. If you ever see a wolf like this monstrosity, turn around, run, and don't look back. Unfortunately for the dog in the video, this wolf was not taking his barking crap. After a few barks, the monster wolf dashes in the direction of the dog with ferocious intensity. By the way the owner responds when he hears his dog getting mauled is a clear indication that this scene is real, not to mention the quick reaction of turning off the camera once he realized what was going on. What did the guy think was going to happen when he recorded that video with his dog? Did he think Fido would sit there and be recorded without incident? The scariest part of it all is at the beginning of the video, it looks like a normal-sized dog standing in the grass. Once the dog gets close enough and the wolf stands, you get a sense of the size of the beast. It's humongous. Even worse, that wolf is in this guy's front yard. Likely that means the wolf will return. Even if it doesn't return with its pack, this gargantuan wolf is holding its own without such a struggle. Hopefully that dog made it out all right.
Y'all better be prepared.
Bears in a moat. These bears decided to take a refreshing dip in a moat where a crowd of onlookers caught the whole thing on camera. Typically, a bear this close would either avoid humans altogether or charge them to ward them off their territory. However, the bear in this footage could give a darn about all that and just wants to chill in the water for a bit, despite the rowdy crowd above. He even exits the moat and starts heading in the direction of the tourists without much cause for concern. On the other hand, the people realized it was time to cut the footage and run before it got any closer. The best part of all of this is the bear has seemingly claimed this moat all to himself. He brings toys to play with, has made a little den, and even can be spotted there consistently. What's more, there isn't just one bear or two, but a whole gang of them. They've long enjoyed the formidable protection of their surroundings and the congestion of bears in the area. It isn't too often that you find humans going in there trying to cool off. These bears would indubitably not take too kindly to that action and encroachment on their territory.
You gotta worry about it. Have y'all ever seen a bear versus a gator? The entire time I'm sitting there and I was looking at some of that like murky, muddy looking water, I was like, I wonder if an alligator in there. And then I had the thought, I've never seen a bear versus gator. Now, if I had to guess who would win, I'd probably go with the gator, but have y'all ever seen any of those videos? I'm gonna look after this. I'm gonna look.
The Umatilla vocalizations. Is it laughter? Is it screaming? Is it the late night howlings of a pack of hyenas? No one's sure. The strange sound seems to be moving across the country. First it was heard in Arizona, now it's in Oregon. What are these mysterious calls that occur in the middle of the night?
I don't know.
Where there's great mystery, there's always blanks that get filled in with the human imagination. Many have claimed these sounds are the howls of Bigfoot himself. Whether the sounds are actually traveling could be a result of the creature's rareness or that it is, in fact, on the move. The mysterious noises emanate at night from a marshy, brush-covered spot on the Umatilla Indian Reservation east of Pendleton. Locals say the sound is so eerie, so different than anything they've ever heard, that the hairs on the back of the grown man's necks are raised. Since the shrieks began, no one wanders into the soggy wetlands from which it originates. The scariest part of it all is that many residents can hear the noise and point in the same direction from which it came. There's clearly some sort of strange creature causing a ruckus back there. Wire biker traps. This horrible wire trap was created to do some harm. How else do you explain a nearly invisible wire positioned at head height on a highway? The motorcyclist that traveled this road could have been seriously injured or even decapitated. Depending on how fast the bikers were speeding is dependent on the result. Either way, it wouldn't have been pretty. Who would do such a thing? Lucky for Craig Billiot, who came into contact with the booby trap, saw it at the last minute before he was too late in that he was riding his dirt bike, not a road bike. Just as he's cruising along the track, he noticed a barbed wire strung across the width of the track. Laying the bike on the ground, he still made contact with the trap, but he had slid the bike to a slow enough halt before crashing to mostly avoid it. He's got the scars to prove it. Before contacting the wire, he put his arm up between the wire and his neck, but the damage was still done. If he hadn't have gotten his arm up there, it could have been off with his head. The investigators are trying to determine who and why someone would ever craft such a deadly trap. More and more
Bro, y'all gotta be careful out there in the woods, man. Seriously, and it's getting that time of the year. It's already that time of the year. People's already out in the woods now. Like I said, I was just watching some videos from my cousin who was out kayaking and camping and doing things in the woods. Man, y'all be careful, bro. People are sick, crazy, psychos. They don't even, that's just wrong, bro.
Videos have been showing up with such traps, some of them highly haunting.
That's wrong.
The Ghost of Lei Loyon. What in the world could this sinister figure be? No one knows, but police are searching for a random figure that's been reportedly lurking in the woods of Switzerland for over a decade and always found sporting a cape and gas mask. The mysterious figure, known as Lei Loyon, is said to be a spirit that's been haunting the woods of Switzerland for a considerable amount of time. The figure walks the same route every day, but no one showed up when police went to investigate. How could a man who walks the wooded forest suddenly not appear once people are looking for him? There's no way he could have known the police would be there on that given day. Other locals have told frightening encounters with that being. "It scared my children," a woman once said. "He came out of the woods with his military clothes. We saw neither his face nor his eyes behind his big dark gas mask. It was scary. And I know women who are venturing alone in the forest." Is this a man simply trying to cause chaos throughout his community? Or could it be the real spirit of a haunted soul? Switzerland is even going as far to call the event their own Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot. The main difference is that there have been some shocking photos and footage of the scary being. Terrifying forgotten bunker. Needless to say, there are creepy abandoned military bunkers spread out throughout the world. When the world has once feared total annihilation, these bunkers were constructed with survivalists in mind. Thought to be able to withstand a nuclear blast, the bunker in question is as eerie as it is mysterious.
I bet.
How many bunkers are lying around undiscovered, hidden behind decades of nature reclamation like weeds, roots, and branches? Especially during World War II, many of these bunkers remain unknown to most, having been sabotaged by German invaders. At least, that's what historians say of the many bunkers that dot the landscape unbeknownst to most. The forestry department happened upon this old bunker after felling many trees in southern Scotland. Many experts even claim the bunker to be the house to Churchill's secret army, otherwise known as the auxiliary units, who were prepared to defend their homeland from German occupation should it have occurred. The bunker was a concrete can with a tin roof and brick walls, measuring around 23 feet long and 10 feet wide, that could house about 7 soldiers for months or years on end. How many secret bunkers with ready resistance soldiers were out there? Unfortunately, we may never know the total number. The Dolls of Cannock Chase. What is it about grimy, abandoned dolls that make them so terrifying?
Exactly.
No matter the situation, if some creepy dolls hang out for no reason, it's bound to build some sort of dread. Heck, there have been enough.
And the crazy thing about it is they're still creepy and just give you an eerie feeling in the daytime. You ain't even seen it at night yet or stumbled upon it at night. Imagine what it's like then.
Or tales
No,
about
thank
dolls
you.
to get the imagination spinning. One doll is enough. 2 is too many, and a whole island is a nightmare.
Exactly.
Those who have seen the dolls firsthand claim that there's some strange order to their placement, but they have a hard time deciphering the code. What could they mean? Years ago, the island was home to a successful mine whose inhabitants exclusively worked it. A tragedy befell the mine, and many suspect the dolls are from the children killed there and that were forced from their livelihoods. Whenever locals hike the island, they say prayers and wish the children who live there well. I guess that's an excellent way to keep any vengeful spirits at bay. Remember the trick if you ever find yourself on vacation to this eerie village. The Marble Mountain Bigfoot. There have been plenty of Bigfoot sightings over the year and all across the world. If there is some convincing evidence of a monster creature remaining hidden for all these years, then this footage is it. At first, the family explores a hovel constructed of large pine branches far more significant in size than any human can handle alone. There were strange claw marks along with the trees that had been there.
If that is Bigfoot up there, what is he doing? Like, is he just up there just chilling? Don't think nobody see him? Like, what do y'all actually think he's up there doing? Huh? Just blowing off some steam? What is he doing up there?
For quite some time, and evidence of a powerful creature that had once been in an area that forced down smaller pine trees and leveled brush. What kind of animal could cause such devastation, then make a home from it? Well, not many that we know of, that's for sure. Not a mark from a hatchet or a saw could be found on the broken trees. In fact, it appeared that these trees had been easily snapped like a twig with relative ease. There aren't any human tools that couldn't create such results. Is this the first evidence ever found about Bigfoot that isn't some fuzzy video of a humanoid marching off in the distance? We may be on the verge of a breakthrough. The Long Island missing posters. Who isn't thinking about the Blair Witch Project after seeing this terrifying footage? A hiker traveling through the woods of New York ran into a terrifying discovery that had him running for authorities. Deep in the woods, the hiker found a trail of more than a dozen missing persons posters, all of the same individual, and was positioned like a breadcrumb trail to an even more horrifying scene. Indulging their curiosity, the hiker followed the posters until they arrived at a cage made of wooden bars and rope. Inside the cage was ripped clothing, more posters, and dried remnants of some sort of liquid. One snap of a twig was the last straw for the hiker, and they darted off seeking help. Running straight to the nearest police station, they reported the incident to Suffolk County Police, who were quick to investigate the scene. After an extremely brief investigation, authorities concluded that the site was set up by a nearby resident who set up the site for their Halloween party. It was confirmed by the individuals who staged the event.
That story always gets me. Yeah, that was the end of it. But man, I'm glad y'all watched this video because, bro, like even me, I wasn't even thinking about the booby traps. More so thinking about some of the scary things you may see out there, the animals and stuff like that. But bro, some of the stuff I've seen in there just reminds you of how crazy people are and how dangerous it could be to just be, you know, just going through a trail. You seen dude on a bike trail, riding his bike. Like, that's beyond. And I'm pretty sure maybe where you guys are from, some areas, it's even worse. You know what I mean? And they have to constantly remind people, listen, man, be careful. Like you're entering at your own risk type of thing. That's just insane. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man, and let me know what you thought of this video, bro. And stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.